Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from the Brandon Green Show, Song of Solomon 2026, God-ordained Spouse. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the video here on YouTube, the music video for it. We're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's do it, let's go.
So, if anyone has ever wondered if Song of Songs, Song of Solomon, could be real between two people, possibly, or if it's not biblically about true love, well, let me tell you that I wrote this song before I've ever met the one that I know I'm gonna marry.
True love exists, 2026, God does it like this. Now can you see that the dreams that I had, they're all coming real now. Can't call me mad, can't call me crazy. This is my lady that God gave me a gift, can't you see? 2026 and God does it like this. Jesus is true and he's coming back for you. I'm at the beginning of the end, or is it the end of the beginning? My heart keeps aching, the devil wants me sinning, stuck in this limbo time but still away from mine. The season to come for when things are fine, but along the way, gotta expect the grind. Lord's gone quiet now, I'm begging, come and give me a sign. A faint glimmer of an answer, I'm saying do it again. Near assurance so that God come and do it again. Take it away from me, if it's not from you. This is torture, longer, what are you putting me through? A wife is what I asked for, you gave me room. I want to hold her since then, my balls are blue. I've been stop, start, ghosted, told my friends are roasted. Cloud9 floated, overseas posted. Still I'm not getting any answers yet, though I'll follow the path to where I've been led.
I like how straightforward it is. I'm going to try not to pause it too much, but I really dig how kind of earnest we are and how we communicate. I think it's genuinely quite good.
And this is how you prove the true love exists. 2026, God does it like this. Now can you see that the dreams that I had, they're all coming real now. Can't call me mad, can't call me crazy. This is my lady that God gave me a gift, can't you see? 2026 and God does it like this. Jesus is true and he's coming back for you. What's it gonna be like for the day that we meet? Will it still be a long burn or will I sweep you off your feet? Never do I settle, I just want a level, becoming a force together. We go and fight the devil, what baggage do you bring? It's all been forgiven, what job you gonna have? And where will we be living? Do you turn up on my doorstep? Or again do on yours with more zest? Now can you believe that we're each other's reason? That we were put here for a meaning? Telling people that you found your kingdom spouse. It's like hostess, you dream and return to your house. It's just what they say, it's all we've been told. No understanding of the Holy Spirit coming in bold. Ignore the pressure, it's all under control. Lord's gifted me my shulamite to comfort my soul. And this is how you prove the true love exists.
And back to the hook.
2026, God does it like this. Now can you see that the dreams that I had, they're all coming real now. Can't call me mad, can't call me crazy. This is my lady that God gave me a gift, can't you see? 2026 and God does it like this. Jesus is true and he's coming back for you.
So the truth of the matter is, we've been psyop beyond belief, we've been living life upside down. You can truly go out there and get your God-ordained kingdom spouse, your husband or wife that God has chosen for you is out there waiting for you. You just got to let God push you two together. Trust in him and he'll deliver it for you.
I do appreciate the angle that we're going with for this, and I did quite like a lot of the song. We're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from the Brandon Green Show, Song of Solomon 2026, God-ordained Spouse. In the next section, we're going to be providing an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics to vocals through to production, as well as any applicable constructive critique, and then finally my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. But first of all, what do we think this track is about? I think this is a track about Brandon finding that it's possible for him to eventually have that woman that he's dreamt of, that it's going to happen someday, that God is going to help them find this person, their God-ordained spouse. They've gone through trials and tribulations and people doubting them in their capacity or ability to be able to find that person. And now they're absolutely satisfied that they're going to have that happy ending together. And I do like at the end the message saying that if you yourself are uncertain, that you will find that person. I think regardless of whether you're religious or not, the idea that it is possible to find someone is inherently, I suppose, factual to a certain extent. You know, as long as you're not a horrific human being, and even then some people get into relationships when they're horrific. They hide it, or sometimes they don't, and it happens. It's just, I agree. I think it's just quite a well-meaning track, and I do really appreciate the angle we're going with, the kind of positivity behind it, as well as the way that we express ourselves and communicate. The vocals in this track are rapped. They're spoken in some parts, and they're rapped in others. And I like the fact that we're kind of putting the vocals, that the spoken parts at the start and the end for further context, I dig that. I think the cadence and flow reminds me of a lot of 90s to early 2000s hip hop, and I like the swing to it. I like the kind of boppiness and some of the charisma behind it. I think that what we're discussing and the different words we use and the diction and the way that we have a good rhythm unison with a lot of the kits there, and the way that we have different ways of communicating or different intensities between the choruses and the verses, that we know the way we have to repeat certain lines for the hooks, whilst adding further context and differentiation to the verses is solid. I think we have good presence in the mix, and I think that we do pay attention to how to harmonize with the surrounding elements in a way that is it's really respectable, and it doesn't sound overproduced either. I think that in a track like this, where you're trying to appear quite earnest, if you put too much of the post-production of sort of like a lot of the modern hip-hop and rap techniques that are kind of like vocoders and tuning and stuff like that onto it, would have just done a little bit too out there. Having a more kind of raw approach, I think, is the right take. It seems like someone really kind of having a conversation with you. So yeah, I think the vocals are done well. I think for the most part, the bars are solid, and I genuinely mean that. The track itself is 3 minutes long, and it has a mixture of sort of spoken parts like the intros and the outros, as well as the choruses and the verses, and I feel like we transition fairly effectively between those. And there's a mixture of different basses and organs and synths and drum sounds there that flesh out the piece and provide enough compositional diversity to carry us through without being too overwhelming for the listener or sort of overshadowing the vocals. I like those interesting kind of synthy organs at the start there, and how subtle they are underneath the spoken part at the beginning, because it insinuates both what we're going to hear more of as we go through the piece, as well as provides that main theme to kind of make it compelling and have a sense of groove and pattern, or it illustrates the tempo, and it's just a sort of a compelling, interesting sort of sublead. And I think the religious kind of connotation with the use of the organ is valid here. I dig that, especially when we're talking about Songs of Solomon, etc. In fact, actually, to be fair, I kind of am listening through this, and was there a bass? It's a very subtle bass, isn't it? I think it's just more the low end of the keys themselves. You could have potentially have added a dedicated bass here, but it would have really filled out the stereo field quite well. It explains why the lower end of the drum kit are a lot more punchy than I was expecting. But I think the choir pads on the sides, again, that church aesthetic works really neatly, and we're singing quite simple sort of notes or harmonies there that don't overcomplicate the main sort of themes emotionally. And I like the drum kit, how it mixes up a combination of quarters, eighths, and 16ths there, again with the swing, boom, boom, boom. It's got a great energy and sort of charisma to it. It's not revolutionary in the way that it applies these rhythms, but it kind of facilitates a sort of an anchoring of the type of genre that we're going for, without being cheesy or generic. I think there's also some vinyl crackle at some points as well, which makes it seem like this is a tale as old as time. I think, to be fair, if we're going for more of a historical context, going over our life, where we've been versus now, having memories of times past, it kind of makes sense to have the vinyl there, But I think the lack of complexity and potential minimalism of the instrumental layers, it allows for more rhythmic sort of options with the vocals. We have some interesting 16th triplets, and the syllables come through clearly, and I didn't mention this for the vocals either. The words come through clearly, and I dig it. I like that we're very careful with our performance there, and I just feel like if we'd stumbled over our words, clearly it wouldn't have as much effect, especially with the focus on it in the center of the stereo field. And I kind of dig at the end that the drums stop, and he just continues talking over it, and it's a kind of you're forced to contend with him isolated. I think that final message is effective because of that. It's very kind of, oh, what's happened? And then you kind of hear him, and then you're done 5 seconds later. Really tight 3 minutes, right within that 2 to 4 minute sweet spot there. No complaints with the length of it. I don't think we needed any additional leads. I feel like it was, again, maybe if we'd gone a bit longer with another verse or overplayed a hand a little bit, but I don't think we did. I think it resolves thematically to a major key signature, but I don't think that we're spending too much time being literal with that. I mean, a lot of that comes from the coloration of those keys, the organ, because the vocals aren't super melodic in their approach, being rapped most of the time. I like that we switch positions within the frequency spectrum, I think. Yeah, we add more synth layers to the upper layer, or more organ layers to the upper layer in the higher register with that chorus part, which kind of seems like it's lifting us up a little bit. I dig that. I didn't mention that in the instrumental section there, but I think what we're doing between parts is we're adjusting the feel through, again, the lack or the resonance of the high end there, making it sound bigger or more sort of solemn depending, so as to pay more attention to the vocals. And there's occasional extensions implied from those keys, but ultimately the focus is to try to not overcomplicate the harmonies. It's effective, you know. It's just a very low key happiness that we feel, I think. And I think that when you compare that to what the lyrics, what the vocals, what Brandon is rapping and talking about here, I think that makes total sense. You know, it's cool. It's well connected. So the studio recording, mixing, and mastering, I think it's tight. You know, the keys, the organs, the drums, the vocals, they are well positioned within the frequency spectrum. There's no weird resonant frequencies. I mean, occasionally with the keys, but there's enough room with things to not feel like acutely resonant. Music surrounds you in the stereo field, things sort of circle and dance around there. The vocals fill it up quite neatly. I can hear some of the keys kind of going to the sides of the stereo field, kind of filling out with maybe resonance on the parts there. The drums are nicely decorated within the panning. And I've just also realized that there's hi-hats in the center with those chorus parts. That's another easy way to sort of increase the high-end resonance, is to have those hi-hats in that chorus part. It just adds a bit more kind of oomph to it. And I've just realized as well that with the drums having that hi-hat feel there, you have the 8th and 16ths and quarters, but they're more pronounced in that chorus section, so I think that's neat. No, there's enough dynamic range for those higher elements to sound bigger without it being too obvious. Again, that vinyl crackle, I think, is a nice sort of surrounding element, a bit of ambience there. Vocals aren't overreduced, just EQing and reverb tails and some of the drum or sort of key elements or vocal parts there. Nothing too overdone. Nice and loud, without pumping. Actually, there's a bit of pumping with the drums, but nice, you know, bass compression, limiting's handled. No applicable constructive critique. I mean, like, I suppose with the microphone, I'm not sure what recording the vocals through it's good, but I feel like objectively for the kind of setup we've got, it's not bad. It kind of gives a rustic feel to it. You could have potentially had, again, like a bass synth or whatever in the chorus sections, but I kind of dig the focus in the choir and the church elements, especially what we're discussing. General listener's perspective, I'm happy for Brandon to have had those realizations and for that to have dawned upon them, and I wish them all the best of luck in finding that special person. I think everyone deserves to, you know. I feel like there'll be an audience because of this. You know, people will resonate with the story and want to have hope in finding that special person too, you know, regardless of your theological leanings. And I wish everyone the best of luck in future. It's just a nice way to start a Monday, because thank you for watching my review of this track from the Brandon Green Show, Song of Solomon 2026, God-ordained Spouse. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show some love via their various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at one time, as they need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next SB Reacts. Spiderhands out.